I used to think I had things figured out. Interior designer, mid-30s, lived in Denver. Not rich, but doing all right. I had a girlfriend, Tara. Fitness trainer, sharp, funny, one of those people who lights up any room. We lived together for 5 years. Had a 2-bedroom condo in Capitol Hill. One of those modern places with too many windows and not enough insulation in the winter. But we made it home. I met her at a friend's birthday thing, some bar crawl that got out of hand. I was the quiet one at the edge of the group, she was in the center of everything. I guess she noticed me because I wasn't trying to be noticed. She came up, made some joke about my shoes, they were pretty bad, and just like that we started talking. 5 years went by fast. Weekends at the gym or hiking, late-night takeout while watching bad Netflix shows. She was the one I told myself I'd grow old with. We even talked about kids 2, maybe 3 if we got a house with a yard. I had the ring. Simple, classic. White gold. I'd planned it for months. Her sister helped pick it out. Proposal was set for Sunday, right after a hike up near Estes Park. I already scoped the spot, clearing with a view, quiet, perfect. But then Saturday hit. Everything changed with a single buzz from my phone. It was a text from an unknown number. Just said, "Hey man, I don't know if you're her boyfriend or what, but I think you should see this." There was a photo. Her. Naked, tangled up in bed with some guy I'd never seen before. My heart stopped. I stared at the screen like maybe it would disappear if I blinked enough times. Then more texts. Screenshots of their messages. Her telling him she was single, that I was just a roommate, that our relationship had been over for a while. My name came up once, she said I was too soft to say goodbye. I didn't respond to the guy. He texted again, said he didn't want any trouble, didn't know she had a boyfriend, just thought I should know. Said sorry. I sat on the floor in the kitchen for maybe an hour. Just sat there. My dog, Max, came over and rested his head on my leg. That almost broke me more than the texts. She came home around 7. Gym bag on her shoulder, earbuds in, humming. She kissed me on the cheek and said, "Smells like you ordered Thai." I didn't say anything. She showered. Changed into her usual lazy evening clothes, leggings, and one of my old t-shirts. We ate dinner. She talked about some new client. I nodded, said as little as I could. When she went to brush her teeth, I packed a bag. Nothing dramatic. Just the essentials, some clothes, laptop, the ring I never got to give. I left a note on the kitchen table next to the ring box. It just said, "I know you cheated on me. I was going to ask you to marry me tomorrow. Goodbye." And that was it. I got in my car and drove through the night, not even knowing where I was going. I ended up in a motel 2 hours south. Slept maybe an hour. The next morning I called my boss, said I needed a leave. He didn't ask questions. That's how I started over. Not when I wanted to. Not when I was ready. But when I had no other choice. I landed in Santa Fe. Didn't plan it, didn't think it through. I just kept driving until I saw signs for a place I didn't have memories in. That felt important, starting fresh in a town where no one knew me, where no one could look at me with pity or questions or worse, fake sympathy. I got a short-term rental through one of those apps. Small Adobe-style place. 1 bedroom, rough kitchen, smelled faintly of sage and dust. But it was mine for a bit and that was enough. First few weeks were quiet. I barely left the house. Took long walks with Max, ate cereal for dinner. Stared at the ceiling a lot. Thought about going back, then reminded myself what back meant. I checked her Instagram once. Regretted it immediately. She'd already deleted every photo of us. I didn't block her. I didn't need to. I just stopped looking. Eventually, I picked up some freelance design work. Old clients, referrals. I didn't advertise that I'd moved. Didn't explain anything. Just said, taking time away from Denver. People nodded like they understood. One of my first gigs in Santa Fe was for a woman named Lorna. Retired psychologist, wanted her condo redone in earth tones. Talked a lot about energy and light. She had a calm way about her. We never got personal, but one day while I was looking at paint samples she said, "You've got the look of someone who left something behind." I didn't deny it. She didn't ask anything more. That became the pattern. New people, surface conversations. Nobody pried, which I appreciated. I went to a small gym off Cerrillos Road. Didn't talk to anyone. Just lifted weights, ran a bit, showered, went home. Nights were the hardest. I'd lie in bed and think about how close I'd been to proposing, to becoming someone's husband, to building a life that turned out to be a lie. I don't even know how long it had been going on. I didn't ask. Didn't want to. I tried not to think about what parts were real and what weren't. But that's the thing, once you find out someone was living a second life, you start to question every damn memory. Was she ever really looking at me when we laughed in bed? Did she ever mean the things she said about growing old together? Or was I just there, a placeholder, someone to keep the seat warm while she figured things out? One night I found the ring box again. It was still in the bag I'd packed. I held it for a long time. Thought about throwing it in the river. Instead, I stuck it in a drawer and shut it tight. Not ready to let it go. Not ready to keep it either. After about 2 months, I found a local design firm that needed help. Small team, decent people. They offered me part-time to start. I took it. Didn't explain why I was there. Just said I wanted a slower pace. They nodded. Every day started to feel a little more normal. Wake up. Coffee. Max work. Eat. Sleep. Repeat. Not happy. Not sad. Just steady. And after the storm I'd walked out of, that was enough. For now. They say healing isn't a straight line. It's more like a drunk stumble, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, some nights face down on the pavement wondering what the hell happened. 3 months in, I was finally used to the silence. Used to my own company. Used to waking up and not having someone there next to me telling me about her weird dreams or what time her clients were coming by the gym. Then came the hook. I was on a grocery run, just bread, coffee, dog food, when I saw her. Not Tara. Someone else. But the resemblance hit me like a sucker punch. She had the same hair, same build. Same laugh, even. She was standing by the produce, trying to get a plastic bag open. Struggling with it the way everyone does. She looked up, caught me staring. I looked away fast. But then a minute later, she came up behind me near the frozen food. You need help picking frozen peas too, she joked. I turned. She smiled. Easy, confident. Not flirty, just comfortable with strangers in a way I never was. I laughed, shook my head. No. Just thinking too much about dinner. She held up a bag of frozen stir-fry. Go with this. Trust me. I nodded. All right. I trust you. She smiled again, then walked off. Her name was Elena. I found that out a week later when I ran into her again, this time at a bookstore. I was flipping through an architecture book I had no intention of buying. She walked past, stopped, and said, "Frozen stir-fry guy?" We laughed. Talked for a few minutes. She lived nearby. Freelance photographer. Used to live in Portland, came to Santa Fe after her divorce. That last part hung in the air a second longer than the rest. I told her I was an interior designer. Left out the rest. We didn't exchange numbers. Just said, see you around. But I kept thinking about her. A week later, I saw her again. This time at the same coffee shop I started going to on Thursdays. She waved. I sat down. We talked. Longer this time. She had a warm kind of sadness to her. Not broken. Just honest. Said she used to believe in soulmates until she didn't. Now she just believed in good moments. Enough of them strung together makes a decent life, she said. We met for coffee again the next week. Then for a walk. Then lunch. I didn't tell her about Tara. Not yet. I wasn't sure I could. Not because I still wanted Tara. I didn't. But because the story was so fresh it still felt like it belonged to someone else. Some idiot version of me that thought love and loyalty were the same thing. One night, we were sitting on a bench overlooking the city lights. Elena asked, "What brought you here?" I said, "A girl." She waited. "Let me talk." She cheated, I finally said. The day before I was going to propose. She didn't say sorry. Didn't flinch. Just nodded like she understood more than I even said. "Do you still love her?" she asked. I didn't answer for a long time. Then I said no. But I loved what I thought we had. And that's harder to let go of. She reached over, touched my hand lightly. And that's the hook. That little gesture. That one small moment when something shifts again quietly without ceremony. Because I hadn't planned to open up to anyone. But somehow with her, I started to. Not all at once. But enough. Enough to matter. Elena never pried. That's what I liked most about her. She asked questions, yeah, but only when I was ready. She didn't need my whole history to understand who I was now. And honestly, I was still figuring that out too. We started seeing each other more. Casual stuff. Walks, breakfast spots, occasional dinner at her place or mine. Nothing serious, nothing defined. I didn't call her my girlfriend and she never pushed for labels. We were two people with cracked pasts, trying not to cut each other on the edges. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night, heart racing, thinking I'd heard Tara's voice in a dream. Then I'd look over and see Elena, asleep, curled up on her side, and remember I wasn't in that life anymore. That helped. Not just being with someone new, but being with someone who didn't make me feel like I had to perform some version of myself. I didn't have to be strong or charming or even okay. I just had to be real. One night, she came over after work. I'd cooked something simple, grilled chicken, roasted vegetables. We ate on the floor because I still hadn't gotten a proper dining table. Max lay between us, snoring. It was one of those nothing special nights, and halfway through it I realized I was happy. Not the big fireworks kind of happy. Just that quiet sense that things were okay in that moment. After dinner, we sat on the porch. The sky was dark. Stars clear. She leaned into me and said, "You seem lighter these days." I nodded. "I feel it. Little bit." Then she said something I didn't expect. "I'm not here to fix you, you know." "I know. And I don't need you to fix me either." We sat like that for a long time. Didn't talk. Didn't need to. Still, I had moments. Flashbacks, really? Tara's laugh in the gym, the way she'd tie her shoes before a run. The curve of her handwriting on post-it notes left around the condo. They'd hit me out of nowhere, grocery aisle, elevator, right before falling asleep. Sometimes they made me angry. Other times just hollow. One morning I finally opened that drawer and looked at the ring again. Still in the box. Still exactly as I left it. I didn't take it out. Didn't need to. I just looked. Then I closed it, walked out of the house, and didn't think about it again for a while. I told Elena about it a week later. The ring. The note. The leaving. She didn't flinch. "That's brutal," she said. "But also kind of brave." Didn't feel brave. Most brave things don't. We didn't say much after that. But I felt closer to her. Not because I'd spilled everything, but because she didn't run when I did. Life didn't explode after I left Tara. It just shrank. Got quieter, tighter. A lot of men think when they walk out of something big, there's gonna be a clean slate, a movie moment. But all I got was silence and a fridge full of groceries I didn't remember buying. Elena was steady. She didn't ask for more than I could give. Some weeks we saw each other 3-4 times. Some weeks, not at all. I always texted her back though. Didn't matter what mood I was in. I never wanted to be the guy who left someone hanging again. But the ghost stayed. One night I ran into someone from back in Denver. Guy named Paul. I did a few commercial interiors with him a while back. He was in Santa Fe for a gallery thing. Recognized me walking out of a coffee shop. We grabbed a beer. He asked where I'd been, said everyone thought Tara and I were getting engaged soon. I didn't explain. Just said things changed. He nodded and moved on, but the rest of that night I felt like someone had shoved a hand into my chest and stirred everything around. I didn't sleep. Thought about what would have happened if I hadn't gotten that text. Would I have proposed? Would she have said yes, married me, built a whole life off a lie? Worse, would I have never found out? The next day, I went through all the old photos I had backed up. Deleted them one by one. Not out of anger. Just like cleaning out a drawer that was never going to close right again. There was this one picture that hit harder than the rest. Us on the couch, Sunday morning light through the blinds, she's holding a mug and smiling at something off camera. I looked so damn happy in that picture. Not just smiling happy. I stared at it for a long time before hitting delete. I told Elena about it later. That I cleaned house. She said, "Feels weird, right? Like you're erasing something." "Yeah," I said. "But it's already gone. I'm just catching up." That week she brought over her camera, wanted to shoot something for a side project. She took photos of my hands while I worked on a design mock-up. Asked me to sit by the window just reading. Said she wanted real moments. I didn't ask what the project was. Just let her shoot. Later, she showed me a photo of me laughing at something dumb Max did. "That one," she said. "That's what healing looks like." I didn't know what to say. So I didn't say anything. But I saved the photo. Printed it. Taped it to the fridge. Not to replace what was lost. Just to remind myself that something new had started to grow. Quietly. Without ceremony. But real. By the time winter rolled around, it had been almost a year since I left Denver. The seasons changed slower in Santa Fe. Less snow, more dry wind. Cold in a different way. I liked it. Fit my mood better. Work picked up. Got a steady rhythm going with the design firm. They offered me a full-time position. I said yes. No dramatic moment, just a quiet choice. That's how most of it was now, quiet choices. Elena and I never moved in together. We never talked about forever. But she was there. Consistent. Some nights we cooked. Some nights we didn't say much. Some nights we fell asleep on opposite ends of the couch. I didn't question it. Neither did she. That's how I knew it was good. Not perfect. Not intense. Just right enough. One morning I got a call from Tara's number. I didn't answer. Voicemail came through. Hey. I know I probably shouldn't call. Just saw a photo of Max somewhere. Made me think of you. Hope you're okay. I didn't call back. Didn't even save the message. But it rattled me more than I wanted to admit. Later that day, I took Max for a long walk. Let him sniff every damn tree he wanted. Just watched him live like none of this mattered. And maybe it didn't. Maybe the hardest part of all this wasn't the betrayal, or the leaving, or the starting over. Maybe it was learning how to stop waiting for an apology that was never coming. I told Elena about the voicemail. She asked, "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. Just weird hearing her voice again. She didn't press. That night she slept over. No big moment. No deep talk. Just her next to me, warm and quiet. I woke up before her, made coffee, and sat by the window. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like a man waiting to heal. I just felt like a man living his life. It's been 2 years now. The ring's still in that drawer, tucked under some old notebooks. I haven't opened it in months. Probably never will again. But I never threw it away either. That felt too final, like pretending none of it happened. And it did happen. Tara existed. We loved each other. Or I loved who I thought she was. There's no use pretending otherwise. But what I have now, this quiet life, the simplicity of it, it doesn't feel like punishment anymore. It just feels mine. Elena's still around. We're not married. We're not talking about kids or houses or timelines. We're just two people who make each other better on most days and let each other be on the others. Some days she stays over. Some days we meet for coffee and then go our separate ways. Some days she disappears into her work for a week and I don't hear from her. But I never doubt she's still there. And she never doubts me. That's all I need. I got a postcard from a Denver friend last month. Wedding photo on the front. He and his new wife grinning in the snow. I smiled, genuinely happy for him. Then I tossed it in the junk drawer and moved on. That's how it is now. Memories don't hurt the way they used to. They're just there. Like furniture in a room I don't go into much. Elena printed another photo of me recently. One she took while I was fixing a light fixture. I'm squinting up at the ceiling, screwdriver in hand, Max curled up behind me. She gave it to me without a word. I stuck it on the fridge next to the first one. Not to forget the past, but to remember that something else grew after it. I used to think betrayal would be the thing that broke me. But it wasn't. It was the silence afterward, the question of what came next. Now I know. What comes next is the life you build one day at a time. No drama. No climax. Just you. And whatever's left when everything else burns down. And sometimes, if you're lucky, someone's sitting quietly beside you.